The film begins with a lovely but terrible pond with black water shown at a deserted place named Blackwater. Following that, a family of 3 is shown, consisting of a girl named Grace, her husband, and her younger sister. They were on their way to a crocodile park for a vacation, where there were many crocodiles. They arrive within a short period of time. They find many tourists there who were feeding the crocodiles. Everyone was watching this scene, and they were also enjoying themselves in the park. At night, they went to a hotel and were discussing tomorrow's plan. Following that, they decide to go to a nearby pond called Blackwater and go fishing. It was the same pond we saw a while ago. They reach there the next day. The pond is shown to be huge, and it is spread out even from afar, with trees in its surroundings because it is also a forest. They meet a man here with a boat, and he is a guard of this place who will help them in their journey. After a short time, he takes them fishing. The guard tells his boss is also here and has taken another family to tourism, and I had a gun that will be useful in an emergency because there are a lot of crocodiles, and we learn from Grace and her sister's conversation that she is expecting. She didn't tell her husband anything about it because she was waiting for the right time. They were enjoying the surroundings when they were on the boat, and everything seemed lovely to them. They took pictures, and during this, they have come far. They stop at a place and try to catch a fish, but they couldn't catch one, so the guard takes them far, and Grace's husband again tries to catch a fish. This time, a fish hooked in their rope, and they became happy because of it. Suddenly, their boat shakes and tilts immediately, and they all fall into the water. It wasn't a fish that was stuck in their rope, but a crocodile that hit their boat. Grace's husband, terrified, says, "Hurry up, get on the tree," and he panics and makes Grace get on the tree. When it was her sister's turn, he didn't find her, so he started looking for her. Meanwhile, Grace sees a crocodile taking the guard. It means the crocodile has ended its guard. Grace gets scared because the crocodile was coming for her husband. She screams immediately and asks him to climb up the tree, and he does the same and climbs up the tree immediately. Grace's sister is shown hiding under the boat that was tilted. She comes out of the water, and the crocodile is moving towards Lee. Seeing it, Grace asks her to get on the boat immediately, and as Lee gets on, the crocodile reaches out and starts shaking the boat. It tries to make her fall down. She gets scared seeing this but doesn't fall in the water. As she was holding the boat tightly, Grace's husband made noise in the water to divert the crocodile's attention so Lee could escape. Now there was peace because the crocodile left and took the floating dead body of the guard with it. Seeing it, Grace tells her husband that the crocodile has left and it is the right time to take Lee out from there. She asks Lee to throw the rope towards them that is hanging from the boat. Lee throws the rope, and Grace's husband starts pulling her. The boat was stuck there and was heavy, so it wasn't moving from there, even though they tried together, but the boat wasn't moving. Grace asks Lee to come forward while gathering courage, but Lee is afraid and initially refuses, but then courageously moves in the water and swims. Then she climbs up the tree, but because of the crocodile's attack, her foot was injured. Now they were thinking, how do we escape from here? Grace says we should wait while staying here because the guard's boss will surely come here while finding him, so we should stay and wait. Much time passed, but no one arrived, and the crocodile remained, returning repeatedly while waiting for when they would come down and it would make them its food while attacking them. Grace's husband says why don't we go into the water to adjust the boat and should sit in it. Grace and Lee think this plan is dangerous because the crocodile will attack them when they move into the water. Lee, panicked, starts screaming, "Help, help." Seeing her, Grace does the same and shouts as well, but it was a deserted area, and no one came here. There was none to hear them, and the trouble wasn't less for them because there were a lot of mosquitoes and they were teasing them. They only have a cell phone that got damaged because it fell into the water here. Grace tells a plan that there are many trees, so why don't we move to another place while climbing and crossing the trees? But we need to check where the trees end. The glasses of her husband fell in the water, which is why nothing was clearly visible to him. Lee's foot was also injured, so Grace moves to check herself. She moves on another tree and discovers there is 100-meter gap between few trees which they have to cross while swimming. Further, there were many trees, but this plan doesn't sound good because the crocodile can attack them from 100 meters away. They can't escape even if they try because it swims faster than them. Grace returns, disappointed, and there she sees the floating cut ear of the guard and gets scared to see it. She tells them everything when she returns, and her husband asks to go on the boat while making it straight when they have no other way. This time, he moves into the water after convincing them, moves to the boat while swimming, and eventually succeeds in tilting it. Seeing it, the sisters become happy, but Grace's husband wasn't in the boat, and they get panicked to see this suddenly. He comes out of the water, and they become relaxed. Meanwhile, the crocodile is showing signs of moving towards him, and it suddenly attacked Grace's husband and took him into the water. They started shouting seeing this terrible scene, and then after a while, The crocodile came out while grabbing him into its mouth, meaning the crocodile had also ended him. Grace is sad to see this and starts weeping. Lee is also surprised, and the crocodile leaves after it. Lee says to Grace that we are stuck here and can't get out of here ever because the crocodile will end us. Grace says, "Don't lose hope. We can escape with the help of the boat." She comes down and pulls the boat's rope, but it is far. Then she moves to another branch to hold the rope, but the crocodile tries to catch her while she is jumping. Seeing this, she gets scared and returns to Lee. The crocodile stares at them and then moves into the water. After it, Grace becomes depressed to see her husband's body in the water. She starts weeping and feels sad that she didn't tell her husband that she expects Lee to handle her. Well, now they keep on waiting here even though they were tired. The night appears, and this place looks more terrible. The weather was also not fine, and the crocodile was wandering there. After it, he starts eating Grace's husband's body, and hearing those voices, Grace becomes broken and starts weeping. Likewise, the night passes. The next morning, Grace is shown not well and depressed as she is in trauma. Lee encourages her, saying, "Forget what is done, and now think about your baby. Don't be sad, and save your husband's last sign." Grace agrees, and they notice their boat has moved far away from them, and now they have to swim to reach it. They move forward while getting into the water. Meanwhile, the crocodile appears from the water near them. They are surprised as it gets closer to them, but they remain silent as the crocodile returns. They again move forward, but the crocodile attacks Grace and captures her leg, pulling her with it. Lee gets scared to see this and starts weeping. Being panicked, she calls Grace. Right after that, Grace comes out, and Lee immediately pulls her to the tree. Grace's condition gets worse as she has a deep wound on her leg because of the crocodile attack. Her leg was also bleeding. Lee tears her dress and ties it on her leg as a bandage and tries to stop the blood. The blood stops, but Grace was in severe pain. Then, after a while, Lee hears a boat's voice. To stop it, she moves to another branch and starts shouting for help, but none could hear her because of the engine's noise. The boat leaves. Meanwhile, the crocodile is again shown near Grace because her blood was falling into the water, so it remains below and waits for her. Lee somehow accompanies Grace and ties her leg tightly so her leg will stop bleeding. When the crocodile left, Lee said to Grace, "I will go to the boat and do something to escape from here." Grace forbade her, but she had to go because she had no other way. She carefully moves into the water and reaches the boat while swimming. She gets on the boat and starts throwing the water that was inside. After it, she tries to drive the engine, but the crocodile arrives after hearing this noise and suddenly gets on the boat and tries to capture Lee. Lee gets scared and jumps into the water to move to the tree to escape. The crocodile captures her, and Lee gets faint in the water. She finds herself on the shore as she awakes. There was the guard's dead body on her side. Lee discovers her finger broken and she ties it with a cloth. She then examines her abdomen, discovering deep wounds caused by the crocodile's capture from here. Then she remembers that the guard has brought a gun for protection and starts looking for it. She finds it and cleans it with the water. Then she makes it ready while inserting bullets in it. She fires bullets to check and the gun is working after it. She breaks one of the guard's arms after thinking, and then starts making noise in the water while using his arm. So the crocodile will come here after hearing this noise. She was ready with the gun and was seeing her surroundings. The crocodile doesn't come, and Lee stands up, but then the crocodile is shown behind her, who was secretly about to attack her. Feeling a movement, Lee sees behind her and then again moves into the water, being scared. The crocodile starts chasing her and then disappears, but Lee stops at a place and starts searching for the crocodile. Suddenly, it comes out and holds Lee's hand, which makes her injured. Her hand was in the crocodile's mouth, which is why she shoots the bullet immediately. That bullet shoots the crocodile's head, and it dies on the spot. Lee's hand was also freed, and now its dead body moves into the water. Seeing it, Lee becomes happy. She returns to Grace and tells her that she should be happy because I have ended the crocodile and now we can escape from here. Lee tries to awaken her, but she can't, and Lee becomes depressed and starts weeping. Actually, Grace dies from blood loss, and Lee moves on while carrying Grace's body on the boat. As she walks away, this true story comes to an end.